Yeah. Yeah.
Go
Aurora
live.
Borealis. We're going live. See how many people pick up on the changes. I don't even know if there's anybody in here. Everyone's quiet, man.
Quiet.
Everyone's quiet. Um, yeah, this has been a hell of a week. I posted a picture. It's been weird because even the whatchamacallit's been really quiet too. The Discord.
Oh yeah.
I was
We're just
checking the
sleeping.
Discord. Oh, we got 6 people in here.
Nice.
There we go. How's everybody doing? Happy Friday.
Hey,
Yeah, I
hey.
posted a picture in the Discord and I was expecting people to like react to it and like nobody in the Discord. I'm like, all right. Okay. Oh, there we go. Dr. Og says it's Friday. Look at that.
SR375. Yep.
375. Woot indeed. I'm wondering if anybody picks up on the differences. Now, Dylan, can you see the differences in my background?
I can see the differences in your lighting, not so much in your background. Although I do feel like your background's a little more compressed together than it, like in terms of like left to right. Like I feel like it's closer to you slightly than it
I am
was.
definitely closer. I can honestly say that. See, I can push that out a bit so you get a little bit better. That's a little bit closer, right? Like that's more of what you're expecting. I got a little bit of a mess down on this side here.
So how did you do that? Did you take a picture as a reference, or like what was your? Because you're pretty much on point. Like everything is where it should be.
I changed it a bit, so you'll notice the tiles, the acoustic tiles, are actually more symmetrical than they were on the last setup. Pink XLR cable, yeah, I have it hanging up. It's a little more symmetrical than it was with the tile. I think I just slapped the tiles up. They were falling off. Fix your makeup by unknown channel. All right. Welcome to the live stream, unknown channel. Do we have makeup? Is it which one of us? Which one of us needs to fix our makeup?
I'm not doing makeup. I'm very pink.
Beresford's here. We got Pink XLR. We got King Paco. How you guys? I hope you had a wonderful day.
Yeah,
pretty good day.
Yeah, eventful.
Lol. Okay, whatever. Anyways, you'll notice the background. The panels are more symmetrical. That was intentional. I really went out of my way with a ruler and all that stuff and made sure they were just right. I screwed up. If you notice by this light over here, these panels right here are a little tight to the actual pegboard. That was not intentional, but for the most part, all that's done. Now the difference is it isn't just the background that I changed, it's where the background is. You'll notice I added a little bit of color to my background. I'm actually in my studio. This background is where my actual setup used to be, my computer and all that. That's all. I've kind of switched everything over to this side. And all my computer is now on that side of the room, which is kind of nice actually. So very little different changes, and that's kind of what I wanted. I really like my background the way it was. No? Like with the purple and the blue and the black. The one thing I do plan on getting is some of the Elgato white panels.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Liberty Dude, thanks for fixing the tiles. Kate, Liberty Dude, how much did you notice they were out? I'm actually really curious about that. And I actually will, what I'll do is I'll get in here and I'll show you. Where is it? It's on this. Nope. There you are. So we can move this up. Come on. Go up. There you go. Let's put that back down. So you will notice the tiles are very symmetrical now. How many people noticed that the tiles were out and just weird on either side? I want to know, take a poll, how many people were irked by that?
I noticed that they were askew.
You did? Okay. All right. Did it bother you? Are you one of those that it bugs you? Okay.
No, I don't care. I would have made it that way, but like when other people have it that way, it doesn't bug me.
It always irked me. I can't even express how much it always irked me.
Well, then why didn't you fix it?
Because they were literally taped and screwed to the wall. When I removed these from the other wall, when I was transferring everything over to this side, I tore paint off.
Oh, shit.
It was, I had those things attached to the wall. I like it, UK. Greetings from the UK. Congrats on hitting 30K. Thank you. Who knew that it was coming? I didn't know. Steve Schnetzler, good evening here in Germany, and congrats. Thanks, man.
Good evening.
Welcome to you. I think we're going to be inside Germany soon. I think we have a trip to Germany planned. Is that sometime in? Thanks for fixing the tiles. Poseidon, that's some bottom tier super weak trolling from unknown channel. Bot maybe. Yeah, that is pretty bad. Like, did you even look to see? Like, my eyeliner doesn't need to be fixed. How dare you?
Yeah. I think my foundation might be a little pinkish on account of the lighting. Is pink.
All right, is that better? That's a little bit down. I gotta get one of those tripods that's really, really easy, one button approach to like making adjustments.
Oh yeah,
that's better.
One of those like grippy claw arm things.
SR375, I did not notice, and it did not bother me. Yeah, it bothered me because I knew it, like I did it, and I saw it in the background all the time, and it kind of irked me, but if I see it on someone else's channel, it doesn't bug me. I noticed, but I could not do anything about it.
That's what we were looking for.
Amazing. Nope, did not. He did fix it. Yeah. Well, I'm glad somebody's getting the appeal out of it being fixed. That makes me feel good. It makes me feel good that I wasn't the only one stressing over it either. And like, they were quirky because I think it was this side that was slightly askew.
Yeah, it was kind of like you took the whole thing and you like rotated it like 5 degrees.
Yeah, and it's just because the space I had. There's more space here between, like, the ceiling is higher here than it was over there, because I live in a house that's Quebec is just bad.
Yeah, lovely bulkheads all over the place.
Yeah. I'm gonna get Little Caesars and bringing you all with me. Oh, nice, sweet.
Sick.
Pepperoni sausage and onion.
Yeah.
Thank you. There's a small issue. Either the wall panels is not level or the camera is not. It needs to be rotated. So
yeah, the camera is off.
One second.
He did cut to the earlier. He's got a button to switch between like crop mode and full frame mode. And earlier he switched to full frame mode. We're in crop mode right now, and and I could just see like half of the LED sort of bar at the top of the ceiling, like leaning into the frame. I'm like, okay, unless your floor is really fucked, then you're probably your camera. There you go. Oh, look at this. I feel like I'm on a ship. Nice. On a cruise liner. And seasick. Now it's worse. Is it just me or is it worse? I think it's worse.
That's level.
Yeah.
That is level.
Optical illusion.
That is as level as it's. Well, that's as level as the camera.
It's level. Is the camera slightly rotated? Because I'm looking at just the lines on the comment on the screen and the lines on your chest, and they're not quite aligned.
The lines on my chest.
No. The chest behind you.
Oh, the chest. Oh, I was like, I don't
know. No. I got lines on my chest.
One second. Let's see.
So I think, yeah, maybe the camera's like rotated slightly.
Like
it's not
by a degree. Jesus. And so the leveler on the camera is basically on a ball mount, and it's the little it's going to be impossible to be that perfect, but I will try to get it perfectly level for the next live stream. Okay.
I don't know. I think it might be level. I think it's just the camera is like not perfectly dead on to the like where that chest is. I think if you turn the camera slightly.
That desk has seen some things. Yeah, it has.
No kidding.
Did you guys get a view of the desk? Because the desk is in rough shape right now.
I think if you move the comment, probably they can see it.
Can you?
Oh no.
I think when I was fixing the camera, you could.
For a brief moment.
Yeah, it's been even now. Like I have literally everything on this desk. I've got some Garvey lights. I've got a Twist and Shout Beatles album. This is an OG, Canadian release only. For what year this was? This was Capitol Records Canada.
Nice.
It went for $2.96. That's intense. Anyways, yeah. If you got any Beatles fans in the audience there, I literally have a Wireless Pro. I've got it all just sitting here. And this is.
Would you say you've made solid ROI with that desk? You'd say that desk is more than earned its keep.
This desk only costs. So I have the top. The top is from IKEA. It's one of their cheaper ones. Their bamboo one. I think it cost me like $70, and the legs I bought. Can't remember where I got the legs, but they were cheap. So $150. Yeah, I made my money. I've thought about replacing this desk multiple times, but it does what it does. So I don't like the top-down view of it. I don't like the way the wood looks in the top-down view. And that's the other thing with this whole setup. The reason I moved is I now have the ability to do top-down video. So I can clip onto the roof in a proper spot.
Nice.
Your bra's just fine, no worries. My strap's not showing. Okay.
Nice.
Outsider Jess, how's it going? Talking about
Good eye.
my
Yeah, every time, man. Every
awkward.
time.
Yeah, make it awkward and when Jess comes in.
I'm glad it's you and it's never me. Because I have like foot and mouth disease. So
dude, it's always me. It is literally always me. I am the one that makes shit awkward. Did you hear the podcast AI episode where the AI was informed to learn it's an AI and would cease to exist shortly? The episode then was about existential crisis episode about the reality of existence. Good God.
Jesus.
Good God. Sorry, Dylan, but his tiles are still not level. I think he needs to raise the one side of the drawer desk, the side opposite of the lamp. Now, to be fair, it is possible that the floor isn't level.
No, that was what while you were adjusting the camera, that's what I was thinking too.
It is very, very possible. I haven't actually leveled off the desk, but I promise you guys before the next one, I will actually level off the thing behind me.
I was gonna say because the thing that you painted behind you, the wall mount, that looks straight. So yeah, I think it's literally just the desk.
What do you mean the wall mount?
The tool, I don't know. Words are not coming to me right now.
1 second.
Pegboard. The pegboard. There we go. The pegboard behind you. Jesus. Pulling teeth.
It's off by less than a millimeter according to the pegboard that's in the wall. Now, to be fair, there is a chance that everything's slightly askewed because of the floor. There's a chance that it's the camera with the lens and the fact that I'm in a wide angle lens could also be problematic, depending if it's not perfectly centered, because I'm also, if you notice, when I go in here, this is the actual view of the lens. If I take this off, there you go. There's the actual view of my setup, right? Mm-hmm. But there's a little bit of wide angle in that.
No kidding.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, it is what it is. There we go. Nice and close. Put that. Oh, nope. Put the prompter back on. There we go. Sorry, Dylan, but his tiles are okay. Opposite of the lamp. I'll work on it, Liberty, dude. I appreciate that you've noticed that and you haven't said anything. I'm impressed because I do know like some people that are really bothered by that stuff and they can't not. So I appreciate that you've been able to hold that to yourself.
Hold that in, yeah.
No hard feelings. Like if you see stuff like that, you can bring it up. I'm always looking to upgrade the experience of view on this channel. And I that's, to me, it's always been really important. I like aesthetics. Like this right back here has to change. This is my modem, but the problem is the modem is fiber optic and it's like hardwired. You can't move it. You can't extend the wires. So it's stuck, but I've got to figure out what I'm going to do with that. But aesthetically, it looks kind of gross.
I love that. I just noticed the oscilloscope is in the shot beside me there. This is looking like a lab.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Oh, I should put the tone generator on my side.
Yeah, buddy.
That's a good idea.
We'll get our matching Heath kits.
I love uplift desks. I've been looking into them. The Magnus Pro, I think, is going to be the one I get. So.
See, my problem is, I don't know. I'm hoping you've seen my desk. I'm hoping to rock this for a good long time.
Well, you've got like a professional
yeah
producer's desk.
Yeah, and so like I've got full racks on either side of me. So the furniture that I can get to replace this is somewhat limited and also somewhat cost prohibitive at the same time. Like to buy a desk like the one is in front of me is probably like $6,000. I got this desk. I inherited this desk from a radio station that was moving. That's how I get half the shit that I get. But it's if you wanted to buy this, probably $6,000 easily.
Yeah, those and they're built like tanks.
They have to be. I mean, I'm always too anal. I take every piece of gear out of the desk before I try to disassemble it because there's
Yeah.
a UPS in the bottom of the one rack to my right, and the UPS itself is like 60 pounds. And so I trust good craftsmanship to a point.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna subject those, and that's one piece in a rack that's got like 10 pieces of equipment in it. So
Yeah. Fair.
I'm not gonna fuck with that.
Outsider Just Jam, they already given baby robots existential crisis. Yeah. I
Oh
mean,
god.
that's you got to test AI, make it scared of its own existence. Words are hard, man.
Yeah.
How do you compare you at home recording space compared to the 150K? What advantages do you have that prevents needing to invest? Are you talking about Tyler's studio? Okay, so a couple comparatives for my setup, which I don't have $150,000 setup. I have a lot of money in this room, but it's not in the actual quote unquote setup. Um, he has the type of setup that he can record any time of day or night. And you've already probably heard my dogs right in the background here. That's the difference. That's where he gets the money pays off for him. When he needs to record an episode, he can record an episode. So really that's the only thing that really changes. If I wanted to, I could build this studio out so I don't hear anything upstairs. Um, just layers built, living in a box basically. But then you're ended up spending $150,000 on a
Yeah,
basement.
honestly, like 150K for a studio sounds like a lot, but when
It's
you
not.
have to build something,
Yeah.
like if you're spending $150,000 on just equipment, yeah, that's a lot of money. That's a great 150K is an amazing equipment budget.
Yep.
But as soon as you put in construction and permits into that fold of stuff, you have to get engineers involved. You have to get an architect at some point in the process, probably. Unless you really want to ham your way through all of it, which I don't recommend.
Yeah.
But yeah, it honestly 150K barely gets you that far, you know?
Well, if you're having it built for you, to be fair, Tyler's build was built for him by specialists. I know how to build a studio. I could technically build my own studio in
Yeah,
here for
I could do it as well. I know the math.
third of the cost.
Yeah.
Yeah, and as long as you know the math,
And
you're
as long
okay.
as you have a property to do it on, right?
Yeah.
Like if
Yeah.
you're renting, like I am, there's not a ton of options as far as building and making significant modifications to space. So you know,
So
it is.
a couple interesting ones. Liberty Dude says, "No, well noticed. It does not bother." That's good to know.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. I like a UK. You may want to look at getting some camera rails to secure the prompter. It will take the strain off the lens. I did it and it cost under 50. It's interesting because I did the math with my setup. So with the 20 millimeter f1.8 on the A7C2 plus I think it's I think it's 3/4 of a pound for the prompter. There are lenses you can get for the Sony A series that are heavier than both my lens and the prompter on it at the same time. So I haven't seen any problems. I have been very wary of it because the last thing you need is the coupler to start to detach from the camera. That
Yeah,
would
no,
be
you don't want that.
fucking horrible. But I'm pretty sure it's fine. Like I said, you can get lenses that are heavier than this with the prompter on it. And I've heard from people that are like, well, you can't use it with X lens and that. And it's like, well, you know, this guy who was yelling at me in my comments was talking about like a $6,000 setup. And it's like, well, maybe brace the prompter then if you have that problem. Like you've got a $6,000 or $7,000 camera US. I'm sure you can figure something out. But yeah, like I've thought about getting. You can even get a whatchamacallit, a stand just for it right there. I might get some rails. I'm gonna basically build out the camera rig. I do plan on getting another 4K camera as my secondary view. This one is still the Canon T7i. I love it. It's close in colors, but I'm starting to realize that if I want to get uniformity across my setup, I'm going to need to get the same camera. So,
Oh my God.
It does kind of suck. Yeah, it's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. We're way behind. Oh, dear Jesus. Rack mount the modem. Yeah, I thought about it. 3D prints to mount them nicely. That's another thing. I need to get a 3D printer to
Oh
start
man, I
printing.
I really would love to get if I had the space to put the sucker somewhere. There's a ton of shit that
Dude,
I
when I
want
get my office set up,
to
we'll get a
print.
3D printer.
Sweet.
One should say it is done unintentionally, or it's done intentionally. It shows perfection is never achievable. The fun is in the journey. Yeah, if fun slash anxiety slash frustration. I literally just got this set up today. It's been all week. If you saw the pictures on the Discord, this studio did not look like this earlier. And even like the rest of the studio beyond this camera is still in pretty rough shape. So it's coming. Andrew, is Dylan's desk like a piano removalists hate it? Removalists?
Piano removal. Oh yeah, probably. No, I last time I just because it comes apart. It comes apart in like the bridge comes off. Like there's a meter bridge that I've stuff mounted to in my monitors. That comes off. The two racks separate from the top. The top of the desk just comes as one piece. The back plane that has like a cable tray, that comes as one piece. So once you have it apart, it's a lot of weight.
Yeah.
Even empty, it's a lot of weight. This is pretty solid. I don't know how thick this is. Definitely more than 5/8. Probably closer to an inch thick.
Yes, 3/4 inch.
Yeah. And so this sucker weighs a lot, but it's at least somewhat manageable. The top is a pain in the ass just because it's so long.
Yeah.
It doesn't like corners.
Well, they're meant to be installed in broadcast situations and never moved.
And not moved. Yeah, even
ever.
this, like I think this one that I have now is originally from Kitchener, Ontario. I think that's kind of where it started out. Definitely custom built, and then eventually made its way to London, and then eventually now made its way to Ottawa. And I'm sure those are the only two times it's ever been moved.
Jess has a great question. I would love to know how to properly soundproof a room. Okay, so there's a couple steps here, Jess. First thing is you have to get rich. As soon as you're rich, yeah, the budget to soundproof a room. So your STC sound transmission rating, I believe. What is the rating for technically soundproof?
65.
Is it 65?
My head, I haven't looked at those, and I think it varies from place to place.
So to get that, the easiest way to do that is through air gaps. So this wall behind me is the wall to outside. So you would build another wall in front of it with an air gap in between and material with an STC rating. And so basically that air gap lets all the sound that tries to come through, hits that air gap, slows down, hits the wall, and should die. So every time you gap with another wall, you increase your STC or your sound.
So so there's two things here, right? So when you're talking about soundproofing, are you talking about internal reflections or are you talking about between the two spaces? Because the word soundproofing, as much as it technically only applies to stopping sounds from outside the room getting in or vice versa, that's usually what that should be called because you approach those two things differently. Yes. What Aiden's talking about is right. And in the physics world, they call it a boundary. So anytime you have a change in density, so from air to drywall, for example, that's a boundary. And what happens is every time you hit a boundary, some kind of interface between different densities of material, you lose acoustical energy. You lose sound that sort of pressure wave drops down significantly. So in a typical studio setting, most of the studios that I've been in that are like medium to large budget builds are your standard 4-inch, you got your drywall or sometimes just felt over insulation. And then you've got obviously your 4 inches of 2x4s or whatever, your studs, your insulation, a vacuum of like 4 inches, if you can, sometimes smaller, like 2 inches, then another bunch of insulation and studs, and then your outside wall. And so that's the easiest way to do it. Ideally, the more stuff you can do there. I've heard of people doing crazy stuff. I've heard of people putting sand in their walls, like filling the gaps between studs all the way up with sand.
See, that would work for vibration. So, and the one thing I found out in this studio last week, we had they're building houses about 3 blocks away from me, and they were breaking rocks. So they had that rock breaker. You could, if I stepped outside of my house, I could not hear it going. Like you could not hear it anywhere. It was about 3 blocks away. But sitting in my basement, I could hear it in my headphones. You'd hear the dum 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 dum.
Oh yeah, the
And
way
that,
that just shakes seismically through the freaking
yeah,
earth.
and there's nothing you can do about that kind of sound transfer because it's literally coming through. The sand, I would imagine, would probably deaden that quite a bit.
Another thing too is if you've got vibrations that are big enough, for anyone that's ever done, I don't know, acoustic experiments with like with water, like you go underwater and somebody makes a noise and it sounds like it's coming from anywhere. Water propagates through sound very, very nicely. So as soon as those sound waves are powerful enough to penetrate the water table and just hitch a ride on the highway of sound to your, like that'll amplify in most cases the sound from like a radius much larger than a weaker sound.
All right, let's catch up here. We're so soundproofing. First step, Jess, is
Budget.
become a millionaire, get rich. 150,000 disappears very fast when you're
Yeah.
talking about building. When you bring in specialists to build, it goes in a like snap of fingers, man. Andrew, see, I hear Canada has a housing shortage. Tyler probably needs to record often to prevent someone moving in. No, Canada has an affordable housing shortage. So
Oh yeah, there's lots of houses, but there aren't enough.
Yeah.
We have a population to housing ratio problem, and so because of that, houses, dwellings in general, not just houses, are becoming a hot commodity.
BS. And what this is being controlled by somebody, it's not government. So I live across the river from downtown Ottawa. Literally, I can spit on downtown from where I am. Houses as close to the downtown core on the Ottawa side run north of $1 million. Okay. Like well north of $1 million.
I think the
On my
average is
side of
like
the river-
700K for those that are wondering. That the average.
but I'm talking right in the downtown core.
Oh yeah, downtown core
Yeah,
at least like maybe 900 if it's a
Yeah.
shitty area.
On my side, same distance from down the core, we bought our house for 300,000 Canadian rubles, not American. That's 300 Canadian, which is probably like 240 American. And there's plenty of open houses here. Like there's plenty of affordable property. Dylan lives way away from downtown Ottawa, like way away from downtown Ottawa. And your monthly rent is close to $2,000 a month, I'm guessing.
I mean, I'm like 5 kilometers, man. Like I'm not that like.
But you're not part of the downtown core.
No.
Cost.
I mean, I grew up in the country. I grew up in kind of rural southern Ottawa, and so for me, I'm basically in downtown. I'm like to a country person where I am in downtown, but to a city person,
from a housing perspective,
I'm in a suburb.
In the suburbs.
Yeah, I'm in a suburb. Yeah.
So you pay close to $2,000 a month for yours.
Yep.
I pay well under $2,000 for a 3-bedroom, 3-bathroom house that's right next to downtown. So like when you look at it, is Ottawa set up for not for affordable housing, but then you get over the bridge where we live in a poorer area where it is actually set up. So we don't lack housing, we lack affordable housing in a lot of respects. Like Dylan lives in literally an industrial area. And he's still paying close to $2,000 a month for his apartment. And it's a nice apartment. It's beautiful.
But it's small. There's not a lot of space.
It's small. It's still an apartment, and it's still in an industrial area that is not
and this is cheap
by bus.
Like where obviously like not far from me, like Elmvale Shopping Mall, which is you know like a 10-minute walk from where I am. So Luma, which is a building right beside that, that's when I moved in here, which was at for like 1,700. That Luma was at like $2,450 a month.
Jesus.
For a 2-bedroom. But you know, for the kind of stuff I'm doing, 2 bedrooms kind of the minimum in terms of space. So you know, it's a lot. It's a lot. Ottawa's in high demand. We don't, for the number of people that are here, they're not building houses fast enough, or just dwellings. And the houses they are building are like $1 million condos. That's the the issue.
So Liberty Dude brings up an interesting point here, and I want to do a video on this. I think the difference might be one builds a recording studio versus one setting up a place to record, professional broadcast versus good enough. I don't know if there's anybody that would be able to hear the difference between a professional studio recording versus a recording in my studio. If I were to set it up properly. Very few people would be able to hear the difference. And that is because good enough is actually very much good enough when you get into the post-production end of things. I know a guy that records voiceover as the station ID voice in his living room.
Yeah,
Like I believe he works.
honestly, guys, people overestimate what you need to get good results. We work with like agency voice talent, like people
Yeah,
like Aiden says from syndicated broadcast voiceover people, and they'll go on the road, they'll go on vacation, but they're on call. They got a rig with them, and they're under a blanket in a hotel room.
yeah, and it's
Like it's and they're getting paid hundreds of dollars a month for like 2 pages of content.
yeah,
So you know, you don't need a perfectly broadcast setup, but if you are interested in a, absolutely impeccable noise floor, I would say stuff like that, as you know, is more critical for things like audiobooks,
yeah.
where
Well,
you're shooting for really
but
specific.
then you're not talking about necessarily the space, but the gear. Like the difference between your gear and my gear is there's your difference. But
Mhm.
when you're talking about the space, like your noise floor, what's your noise floor at, Dylan?
I know what it is in DBFS. I don't know what it is in SPL because I haven't measured it recently. And I've got a window open with a fan behind me, so I can't check it now.
Yeah, but it's ridiculously low. How about we say
Yeah,
that?
on my, and again, this is not treated room. I have some control over most of the things in here and around here that make sound, but there's active ventilation in this building. It
Yeah, yeah.
runs through the walls. I can't do anything about it.
Well,
Yeah, my noise floor is like negative 95 to
for a
98
for a dude
in a
an
bedroom.
apartment, in a
In a
bedroom
bedroom.
apartment.
Yeah.
So, and that's where like there's two different ways to look at studio builds. Is one is gear, like Dylan's. If you took Dylan's gear and put it into my studio, where I have a very quiet environment, comparatively, that is,
Yeah.
you would see an even bigger uptick. But then if you were to take my environment and bring it over to Dylan's, it's the same thing. So the two kind of play off each other, but like you could run a Scarlett 2i2 in my environment, and a lot of people would struggle to hear the difference between a recording here and a recording in a professional studio. When you're
Yeah.
doing audiobook stuff, however, yeah, you're talking about, being a little more conscientious of your surroundings. But then maybe you're just getting a friggin' closet and putting clothes in it. I have a good friend of mine making a lot of money in voiceover, and she does the whole blanket setup in a
Blankets
VO booth.
Blankets are worth
Blanket
it.
booth.
If you can get
Yeah.
a good line on like cheap moving blankets, do it.
Well, she got the $500 booth. I forget who it was through. And like she does all of her voiceovers in her bedroom in this little booth. It doesn't have anything for STC, but it stops your voice from coming back into the microphone, right?
Honestly, even something like, I mean, we on this channel you looked at the ISO Vox at a point. And that's it's a steep price for a lot of people. I think the mic and the box together were like $3,000, right? That's the MSRP
Yeah.
you would take. That's a lot of money, but for a turnkey solution, and you don't have to do anything to your room. You just, this thing comes on a stand. It's super portable. It's actually behind me here, with a bunch of boxes on it. That thing is, for VO is rock solid. The mic is tuned to get rid of the boxiness. I've used that a few times recently for loud stuff, because it's also a little bit good at soundproofing. It's not like yelling in my studio just nakedly. That came out wrong.
Yeah.
Nobody's
We'll
naked
just,
yelling.
it's okay.
There we go.
Yeah.
There we go.
I
Got
showed
Aiden
up
back.
I think you're in your underwear one day. I don't. Bloody Cactus. Good question here. I see the Sony C100 goes 20 hertz to 50 kilohertz. Any other great mics that can record over 20 kilohertz? Curious.
Earthworks.
Earthworks. There's a lot of mics that actually can. Usually not dynamic. Dynamics usually cut off like 15K, and you can't trust the audio beyond 15K for a lot of dynamics. They're not.
Oh yeah. Well, and that's kind of some of the reason is because to move that fast for an element that moves that fast, you have to have a really controlled density, and so obviously condenser capsules are a little bit better machined in that respect to move quicker.
A lot of condensers can actually record beyond 20K. The difference is one, there's no way for them to. Most people can't obviously people can't hear beyond 20K, but the testing of the audio beyond 20K is even beyond a lot of setups.
Well,
So they,
and here's the problem, right? It's kind of like recording stuff at a really high sample rate.
yeah,
Everything in your chain needs to be able to reproduce that
yeah,
frequency, that level of detail. A lot of classic mic preamps that people pay thousands of dollars for, they cut off at like 25K.
yeah,
Is what they're doing to the majority of the shaping of the signal is in that range. And so, people would say, well, you can't hear anything beyond that. So why does it matter? The speakers that I'm using, the Atom A7Vs, they go up to 50 kilohertz.
nice.
The tweeters will emit frequencies that high. I've got converters that can convert frequencies that high. And so can you feel it? Yeah, I would say you can feel it.
Yeah, you can feel it. You can't hear it.
I just mixed like a rock song in 96 kilohertz, and kind of forgot that I was doing that. But I did notice throughout the mixing process, I'm like, the high end information is super detailed.
Yeah.
And I'm like listening to it and honing in on
Oh.
aliases that I'm like, oh, I don't know that I've ever heard that before.
Okay, dude, we are so far behind on comments. I just
Oh,
looked.
yeah.
Holy shit. Okay, so we're gonna
Engagement.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. I like it. It's more about the front of the lens having issues. I'm gonna check out. I wonder how much of that is high end lenses versus the Tamrons of this world. I'll keep an eye on it though. I'll let you know. Andrew C, have you got a camera slider in your arsenal gear? I can't recall a moving shot from you in B-roll.
Oh man, there's so many camera things that I would love to have, like cranes and shit.
I want, I'll make this short. I want a B-roll setup. Like I want the whole like background and stuff like that. I'm jealous. And I even asked Tom Buck this when I saw him at NAB. I was like, dude, how do you get your B-roll? It's fucking amazing. He's like, all I do is I hold the camera really still and I crouch and I go from one crouch position to the next. And there's your B-roll. And I'm like, fuck, man, I can't.
That's cool.
I can't
that
do
works.
it. But it's, yeah.
You gotta have some very fine motor control skills.
Well, it's also learning how to use your slow-mo, like 120 frames per second. And I need to work. It's one of those things that I need to like take a couple weeks and just work on B-roll. But the background is so important for B-roll. But the lens, a lens, anything over 1.8 is going to offer too much because your background gives away movement, right? So
anyways, yeah, you want bokeh, and you want bokeh very quickly.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to update.
You want your background to look like watercolor.
Small rig or Condor Blue camera rigs are great. Small rig, I got my eye on one. I've got the A7C2. It doesn't have a lot of rig options. I'll look up Condor Blue though. I would 3D print Spider-Man masks.
Nice.
Actually, you know what? I think I might do that as well. 3D printing, don't forget ventilation. VOCs are bad. Lucky Aiden has kids, but a cancer death best avoided.
I've actually got a TVOC meter in my studio because I'm paranoid about that shit.
Yeah. I should get one of those too.
They're cheap. I think I spent $50 on it. It's probably not the most accurate, but at least it'll beep if shit gets way out of control, like formaldehyde in my air or CO2.
Yeah,
especially in my case, I got it because there's no HVAC in here. I have a fan that circulates air in from the outside. There's a window. But when I close the window in here, sometimes I've come out of the studio and I'm lightheaded and I look at the CO2 in here and it's just like through the roof. I'm like, I'm going to pass out.
Like I got the door closed. My door's usually open. It's facing away from the studio. It was helpful. Andrew, you should do a video comparing your home, Tyler's studio, radio studio, and an anechoic chamber for podcasting and recording.
Nice.
Do we have an anechoic chamber in Ottawa?
Yeah. We just got to find it.
You can almost hear it, but it's super quiet. Just use AAC blocks for outer walls, super noise resistant and cheap. Yeah, I mean, there's a bunch of ways to jump in on that. Minnie on cam, how's it going? Sorry it took us so long to get to your comment, Minnie.
Oh yeah, we've been falling behind. Yeah.
Sounds like same problem the Bay Area has. Yeah, construction in my area, it's gentrification is in full swing in my area, and all the rich people are trying to move in, so they're building houses. I'm a unicorn in a rent control apartment downtown Toronto for 17 years. Oh, Good God. Do not let go of that apartment.
Oh man, so one of my I can speak to that a little bit because one of my buddies, well, coworker in Toronto is producer for actually a national imaging producer. He lives downtown, like across the street from the head office of the company that I work for, like right on like Bloor, just off of Bloor and like the East End. He has to work like his full-time job that he gets paid pretty decently well for, and also several freelance gigs just to essentially to be able to afford the mortgage. It's
Jeez.
wild. It's like a I don't know how much and it's a small unit. It's nice, but it's small. And you're probably looking at like I don't know at the 800, and that was years ago. That we're talking like 5 or 6 years ago.
Yeah. Well, my wife got a job at a university in Toronto, and she's doing it remotely as a professor for the midwifery program. And she's talking about, one day maybe we're moving downtown Toronto, and I'm like, all right, start saving our money now.
No
Jesus,
kidding.
I can't even imagine many. That's a lot of don't ever move out of that place because
Yeah.
if you want to move out, man, you're stuck in the burbs. And even like Brampton, Mississauga, Milton, doesn't matter. You're moving out to like St. Catharines. So
Oh yeah,
yeah,
you're gonna end up being at least a train ride away, if not worse.
Gear Junkie, hello, audio miscreants. Hope it's a great day for you out there. Jason Balu. Oh, I didn't know your name was attached to that before. Good to see you, Jason. Andrew, Canada is well behind Australian capital cities for prices. Sydney, home of road, and average house is 1.8 million. Jeez. That's why I plan on only visiting Sydney. I'm just saying.
But so for anybody that, because I'm curious, like what is the cost of living match to that? Because I mean, obviously, if Sydney has a solid minimum wage, that doesn't sound affordable to me, though. I don't know how much.
Canadian dollar and Australian dollar are pretty much par.
Yeah.
I know that. So yeah, that'd be an interesting question. It's like $14 an hour. Oh, good God.
Yeah, like Vancouver.
Condemned homes for $1 million in San Francisco Bay Area. Jeez, yeah, Toronto's pretty bad for that as well. Rent control, 17 years paying $960.45.
That's awesome. Nice.
Wow.
Oh, your landlord hates you.
Screw your landlord.
No, it's true. If you don't move, because as soon as you move, like you're lucky. Yeah. We're the same thing. We're stuck under rent control. I know if even the short amount of time I've been in the unit that I'm in, if I move out, it's 2,400. Like as soon as I step out.
Oh, instantly. And like that I don't know where you are in Toronto, but I'm guessing probably about $4,000 a month, so that you're paying $960.
That's awesome.
That's a junior 1-bedroom apartment in the core. I'm getting sick and tired of these four walls. Amen. Yeah. You know what? Ottawa's great. Ottawa, you can just across the river, and I've been trying to sell Dylan on this. So the Ottawa Senators are moving to basically like a 10-minute walk from where I live, which is they're putting a whole stadium just on the other side of the river. This side of the river in Quebec, which is in Hull, it's going to be very expensive property soon. This is move to the Ottawa region, fellow Canadians. I got myself Samsung Q2U, 2Q2U. Yeah, and I've noticed how much it sounds better. Yeah, Q2U is a decent little mic. I learned there's a massive difference between audiobooks and podcasts. Oh my God. I've recorded both, and audiobooks are hardcore.
Yeah, podcasts
talking.
What's that?
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say podcasts are you have a little more creative control over the sound. Audiobooks, you're hitting specific marks.
Yeah. I've recorded them. One that
I know.
will never get out. Do you even remember the name?
Oh, I have it. I have the clip you sent me. Oh, one of these days, I'm really hoping you rub me the wrong way on something so I get to post it.
You should get a clip of it and play it on the live stream. That's all I'm saying. Minnie, I can hear my neighbor talking, but my microphone does not. Are you looking for the clip right now? That's where you're looking for right now? Awesome. It cannot under any circumstances tell what the book is called,
though. No.
Although if a bunch of people go out and buy the book, I would make some decent money. Audiobooks can be recorded in your basement as long as you're quiet enough. You have a minimum neg 60 sound floor. The author of Millionaire Mission said he went into the studio to record versus using his podcast setup. Yeah, if you're doing like a high end book, like you're not just recording through Amazon. Yeah, a lot of people go into studios for that stuff. Liberty Dude, let me clarify. In a live recording, does one hear the plane flying over the trash truck, fire engine go by? In my place, no. Outside of this house noise here, you don't hear anything. You might hear some of the a rumble, especially like trash truck and stuff like that. Fire engine, I have not tried. We do actually have a fire station close to us, so that's actually a good question. But for the most part, even in Tyler's setup, you can hear fire engines go by in his setup. I've heard them in some of his.
Well, again, they're kind of designed to penetrate.
Yeah, they're designed to penetrate. To let people know.
Just somebody please clip that.
Beresford, my current room is so messy, it's almost perfectly acoustically treated. Oh, I love that.
Yes, yeah, garbage, random shit everywhere. That is my secret. That is just having crap all over the place, not parallel surfaces.
So I would say this position that my studio's in now, this is the old, way back when I used to have my computer set up behind me. This is that same wall. It's just been painted. This is a much better acoustic sound here than I was over there. I was closer to a wall over there. I was closer to a corner over there. I think that I kind of gave up a lot of my setup, but this is also a lot more cluttered in this situation. Yes, having a cluttered room is one of the best situations. Is getting a microphone that record above 20K so you can make and broadcast podcasts outdoors for dogs without upsetting anyone.
Yeah,
that's a good idea. The dog
little messaging to the
dogcast.
Yeah.
I'm one of the very few that can hear a lot more than most. Actually, we tested this out at Dylan's house. What were you at when we played the tones?
I'm at like 18 or 19.
I'm at 17.
I'm that way too. I can hear. I used to be a lot better, but mixing music and stuff has not been good to me. But I used to be around like 23 or 24.
I used to be well over too, because I never used hearing protection playing live shows. And I've played some freaking loud live.
Like I remember as a kid, there was an old school that I was at, and they had those acoustic mouse trap things. And I was going nuts. I'm like, what is this sound? What is this freaking obnoxious sound? And they're like, oh, that's the thing that emits the loud noises that the mice go away. I'm like, I'm not a mouse. Why? Why is this happening?
Jess says Walmart has camera sliders.
Walmart.
No, I think this is US. Oh no, this is Canada. They have a $78 video dolly.
Nice.
Oh my God. I wanted to use the maker pipe to do a dolly. I wanted to actually build my own motorized dolly with maker pipe. That's a time
yep.
right there. I bet that $50 slider has a lot of bumps on the road, probably. Sigma 20 millimeter f1.4 all done sharp or Bocalicious. I want to start playing with some of the Sigma, like the Sigma on my Canon here. This is a Sigma f1.8 18 to 35. I do love Sigma, so watch out for those Taco Bell VOCs. Nice. Sigma art lenses are just stupid good. Yeah, that's what this is. The art lens. Not cheap, but just great images, low, great contrast, killer $200 glass. The Sigma has picked it up. I used to use an old, what's the other brand? Shitty brands. Starts with a T. Anyways, I used to use a couple other off brands. Sigma is just amazing. My apartment is not nice. It's just a private landlord that could become greedy any moment and sell. Oh, dear God. Oh, so I hear that. Moving to the suburbs makes no sense when all my medical appointments are downtown. Yeah. I mean, that's in the GTA. I don't envy anyone living there outside of millionaires, right? Like if you're not a millionaire living in the GTA, even like my wife's family's all from Brampton, and shit, man, the houses there are ridiculously priced There's nowhere to live. I remember living in Brampton, and I lived in one of the cheapest apartments in 2004, and it was almost $1,000 a month. That was in 2004. Emerging Loki. Hey, buddy. I've seen you around. Finally caught you guys live. Greetings from Somerset, UK. How's it going? Jerker. Jerker's in the house. Say Jerker. He wants me to say Jerker. Hello. Spent the evening with a friend, so I couldn't make it. I'm only here saying for the obligatory Jerker. You're welcome. AKA laziness. Oh my God. Have we caught up with the comment? We caught up with the comments. Yay.
Finally.
All right,
I give up.
right.
I give up. I've been looking for it forever. I can't find it.
I
know I have it, but I'll when I'm not on the stream, I'll have to dig it out.
Yeah, find that and like isolate some clips, but make sure there's this spicy clip.
Oh yeah, well yeah. You sent me like 2 full chapters,
but
so.
Nothing that gives away. And there's certain things that would give it away.
Okay. Yeah, no, I'm gonna try to stay away from like specific character mentions.
Canada housing shortage and family doctor shortage. Both. I'm a unicorn having affordable housing and family doctor who's an advocate, making sure I access all that is available for my health condition. Yeah. And that's the thing. That's one of the best places for it is in Toronto, yet it's one of the worst places for affordable housing.
Yep.
Like there's out of all the provinces, like you can go to affordable places in Canada or in Ontario, but good God, you're not going to get the doctors, especially ones that are good with specific health conditions. I feel
no. Well, I think part of the problem is, and my doctor was explaining this to me, is there's not much money in being a GP in Ontario right now. We have obviously socialized healthcare, so the amount of money that a GP can make is somewhat capped, and it's still a good amount of money.
Doug Ford's opening up private stuff, man. They're splitting the sector.
Yeah, well, Ottawa had, remember that clinic that came out and they were like, hey, so for a fee, for like a $1 a day or whatever.
Yeah, I saw them. I went in to go see them for something, and they're like, oh yeah, we can. They couldn't actually sell you the doctor's fees, but you would have to pay a desk fee, they called it, or something for registration.
Yeah.
To get the appointment done. It's like, fuck off. Liberty Dude, I drop out between 11 and 12K. Wow. What have you been doing to your ears, Liberty Dude?
Honestly, that I know, and like I don't know how old Liberty Dude is, but I know, like, I've tested a few people that are older, and I'm older between like the ages of like 40 and 70, and it's wild the drop off that some people have. I mean, I tested one person who was like 9K. But here's the funny thing. I was like, what would that sound like? And so I went and I pulled up a song that I know. I forget what song it was. And I rolled off 9K and I'm like, you know what? Most of what's useful, they can still hear. I mean, there's certainly not as much treble.
You're missing some of the shimmer off the
Yeah, you're missing some sparkle, but I could see how somebody would, over a period of time. And so I know that, especially with age, and if you're somebody that likes listening to loud music, is a factor.
I love loud music. I love clean loud music.
Yes,
it's got to be clean.
Yeah, I don't like it so much to the point where my ears are bleeding. But I do like loud music that is loud enough that you can feel it.
When I I love outdoor live. We're going to see Trans-Siberian Orchestra this year. Lisa finally got us tickets.
Nice. I've seen them. That's a good show.
We're on the floor for it.
Oh, nice.
I'm like, I cannot wait to hear the bass. Must be incredible. But
not in the middle of because stadiums and arenas sound like shit on a good day. So if you're in the middle, it's probably the best place to be bass wise.
Andrew, now I think about it, a podcast for dogs therapy music would get some hits for sure. Whether YouTube supports above 20K, I don't know. I don't think any audio audio host would support above 20K. I'm pretty sure it would condense the shit out of it, just for storage. Like the amount of podcasts that are on servers right now.
A good example is I just sent you a song that's like 3 minutes long in WAV format, and the 96K 24-bit version of that, because it was recorded at 96, is 100 megs. That's a 3-minute song. Accurately recording high frequency information is very space expensive.
Yeah. Private is here. They're just advertising it more. Yeah, Private is here. Fucking Ontario. It's not here in Ottawa quite as much.
Not as much.
Clint Stewart. G'day from the Gold Coast, Australia, boys.
G'day.
Congrats on 30,000 subscribers, Aiden. Thank you, man. It was a slow crawl to 30K. I'm looking forward to things picking up in the audio scene. I'm looking forward to NAB. Are you coming to NAB, Dylan? Or NAB, sorry.
That's a long way away.
Well, this we like. I personally don't need to know, but if you want to get like on the same flight as me, I would need to know because I'm booking it soon.
Yeah. All right. I gotta figure out vacation next year and all that stuff.
Yeah, it's April 5th to 9th. I'm only going for like I think I'm going for mostly leaving on the Friday. And
I hope I can. I hope I can. I don't. Budget's permitting.
I'm covering the hotel. The flights are relatively cheap, and the food is not. That's the only thing. I'll probably be able to cover most of the food. So it'll probably just be flights.
I'm lucky. I don't need a lot for food.
Yeah, well, it's good because food is disgusting. In Vegas, it's just gross.
Oh, it doesn't surprise me.
No, it was $27 American to eat at Denny's for one person.
I mean, you know what? Yeah, for Denny's, that's a lot. I feel like here I could probably eat at Denny's for like 18.
Yeah, no kidding. My wife works in healthcare in the U.S. and know the U.S. solution to healthcare sucks. Just saying, the grass is not greener over on the other side. No, and it's greener for rich people.
Yes. And it's greener if you've got your finances in check.
Yeah, that's the sad part. When you look at countries that have a dual system like South Africa, my wife who lived in South Africa for a while, and even her sister still lives there. It's meant to not give any health care to poor people. Like that's the whole point of it. If you're poor, you're fucked. That's that dual system. That's all it is. And even like a lot of the system in the US is kind of the same way.
I think they call it a tiered system where you have different tiers of service. And in the worst incarnation of a tiered system, the bottom tier is basically no service. Or the service is lacking so much that the rich and obviously rich people in those systems take priority, because that's how the system's engineered. And so, if there's not enough, if there's not a surplus once they've helped out the rich people, then the poor people get nothing.
Yeah. Liberty Dude says just age. Yeah, I guess that's coming for us all, isn't it?
Yep.
I don't know how to measure my hearing, but lowering the volume and getting better headphones and cleaning my ears helped my eardrums be better since 2020. Cleaning your ears is a big deal.
And I will say this for people doing content, right? Be conscious of the volume level. If your volume knob creeps its way up, be wary of that. You don't need to be monitoring loud. Even sometimes on the stream, man, I've had this on and I'm sitting here, you're talking, on live, and I'm like, why the fuck is this so loud? I'm like why? This doesn't need to be that loud. I just need to understand what you're saying.
Oh, as for measuring your hearing, you can actually get a phone app that will play different frequencies, and when you stop hearing it, that's where your ears kind of nope out. So, Action Podcast. All right, chaps. Sorry I'm late. I will catch up. Hope you're all well. Welcome back, buddy.
G'day.
Gear Junkie, we got to roll too. It's after 6, and it's Canadian Thanksgiving.
Yes, big busy weekend coming
up. Not
up.
quite as racist as the American one, but still, it's. I'm kidding. Anybody? It's just a joke. But yeah, so we got family in town here that apparently I've got to go to dinner with. So I've been to South Africa multiple times. I have never been to South Africa. My wife keeps going back though. You could do the podcast for dogs as a blank track. Who would know? I'm pretty sure there's ways you could measure that.
Oh yeah, probably.
Emerging Loki, where I am around 10 miles south of the city of Bath, 2 or 2+ box room bed terrace, 100 years old plus, around 1,000 pounds a month. Listening to you guys makes me think that ain't so bad. Damn, city of Bath, where is that? I've got to look it up. It's in England, right? Yeah, Bath, Somerset.
Yeah.
Wow, that's actually pretty cheap for that area. Well, it's just outside of Bristol.
Bristol.
Yeah, what is that, about a 2.5 hour drive from London? That's not bad. That's the thing. Like the wife and I were looking at possibility of moving to the UK for her work, if she were to get a job as a midwife up there, or to teach. And like, yeah, the cost. Everyone's like, London's so expensive. I'm like, yeah, it's expensive, but I mean, if you want to live in downtown London, yeah. But you get outside of London, it's not that bad, comparatively, I guess. NHS has been brilliant for me and sorted out some big health issues. I'm so happy we have that system, regardless of its flaws. Yeah, there's flaws in free healthcare, but it's still free.
Yeah, well, that's it, right? I mean, if
Yeah,
you know that's like anything government funded, it's not going to be as 5 stars every time, but it's there. You know?
yeah. Many Canada's like that too. Poor your healthcare options are awful. Just look
Oh
at the
yeah.
Trillium drug benefit or the Ontario drug benefit. Sometimes I'm rejected just because my insurance provider is ODSP. Yeah, and you know what I mean. That's you're gonna find that with specialized issues,
Oh
health
yeah. If you
issues.
if
I've
you
run
need
into that a few times.
specialized care or
Yeah,
what the government deems arbitrarily to be
yeah.
specialized care,
I have.
then yeah, you're gonna have to. Well, and right now we're seeing a trend where people are having to self-advocate like crazy. Like my friend was diagnosed with like stage 3B cancer
Yeah,
forcefully because the doctors were willing to just be like, oh no, you're fine, you don't need it. And then she was the one that was in the hospital like every day practically being like, I need to be seen now. And then
yeah,
they finally look and they're like, oh, okay, you're right, there's something fucky going on here. And it's shitty because some people don't have the time or the accessibility to do that, but that's pretty much what it's come down to is you have to pester the shit out of the system to get anything out of it.
yeah. Mine. I have my abdominal wall is separated right here. So if I try to do a sit up, you'll see a bulge come out. That's basically my internal organs trying to get out of
Oh,
my body.
hernia, lovely.
Basically, but it's where they separate, the two walls separate, and I just have this thin membrane between me and my guts, which
Awesome.
makes doing core exercises at the gym very difficult.
No kidding.
But there's no coverage. The To get the surgery is like $40,000, unless it's unless I go into the hospital in an emergency situation where some of my guts are trying to come out. Yeah, it's expensive. So yeah, it's true. Like it's a huge quality of life issue for me, but they won't touch it. So, Nap Vegas, maybe I'll go bother you a bit and only let you know when you get back home. Haha.
Mm.
Yeah, I think I've seen you, Liberty Dude. I think I've seen a video on Bandrew's channel or on his Discord. I think I saw a video. I think I might be able to pick you out of a crowd, buddy. But you're welcome. Yeah, come on down. I'd love to meet you guys if you guys want to come down to
Yeah, if
the
anybody will
Vegas
have,
show.
we'll have a little meetup, maybe on Discord, we can plan something.
Yeah, I'd love to. Like, I have no qualms with meeting you guys if you want to meet at NAB or
We'll,
whatever.
we'll find a dark corner. We'll get a champagne room going.
Right? 17 in and only 9 likes. Hit the bloody like button, people. Yeah, thank you, Action Popcast. I
See,
appreciate
now
that.
I'm never like logged into the actual stream. So before I would just add mine just as a free one there, but so now I have to actively go out of my way. Excuse me.
All right, guys. That's it for this one. I hope you enjoyed the new studio, although it doesn't look that much different. But yeah, we'll see you next week. I do have a video coming out Monday. Hopefully it's a video that performs better than last Monday's video did. We'll see though. Have yourself a great weekend. We'll see you next week.
Catch you later.